the data centers that we have that we use in Quebec, and it's green only, so that's important for us. But I think what's really important for the listeners is that, as I mentioned in the press release, the 10 megawatts of HPC NVIDIA chips serving the global AI demand is compared to 100 megawatts of Bitcoin mining. The infrastructure cost is much more, the chips are much more, but the revenue and the margins are much more stable.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. Joining me now is Frank Holmes. He is the executive chairman of Hive Digital Technologies. And Frank, great to see you again. How are you?
Outstanding in Texas.
Good stuff. Well, glad to hear that. And company out with some news today talking about making yet another investment in technology. And I know that you're a big proponent of this to really move the company to the next level. And so this is a $30 million investment into adding these new GPUs. So maybe kind of explain this one to us, Frank.
Well, we've now spent over $100 million in NVIDIA chips. And these new chips are very, very powerful. And extremely expensive. You're talking about 50,000 to, and then when you add these clusters, another 100 to $200,000 in the configuration around these chips. But the H200 has what they call 140 gigabytes of memory. And that word giga is something that Steve Jobs used years ago, talking about the giga economy. And that's what we're living through.
Yeah. So tell us how you're going to put these into action. These are going into Quebec, right?
They are the data centers that we have that we use in Quebec, and it's green only, so that's important for us. But I think what's really important for the listeners is that, as I mentioned in the press release, the 10 megawatts of HPC NVIDIA chips serving the global AI demand is compared to 100 megawatts of Bitcoin mining. The infrastructure cost is much more, the chips are much more, but the revenue and the margins are much more stable.
Yeah, and that's something you did talk about in the news release, is the fact that you're able to better have an ROI on this particular buy because of just that stability.
Absolutely, and it's very key. And what we the big picture is that when we hear about Elon Musk's X AI, I mean, he's spending $3 billion, or he's raising $3 billion right now to buy these H200s and basically beef up his AI build out, especially for what's that's commented a lot about the Doge agency to streamline regulations and make the government in America more productive. But this is only one component of this great digital economy, this gig economy we're living through. And Hive is positioning itself to ride that wave. And this is another step, a critical step in an importance going into year end of adding to our suite of NVIDIA chips for this huge AI demand. And it's about driving solutions, especially when it comes to healthcare, for cancer diagnostics, for cancer research, for the application of how they give medicine to people. This AI revolution is very profound and significant for every industry, and Hive is positioned for riding that wave.
And Frank, the thing about these, they get deployed pretty quickly. You're having these ready to go in Q1 of 2025, right?
Well, right now, our H100s are being ready to deploy this week, going in by year end, and the 200s going into the next quarter. So we expect to be fully up and running in the next quarter of the first quarter of 2025. And this is very exciting in that growth profile. And when we look at that, the multiples that are given to data centers that are owning their own chips and providing that get a higher multiple. So that's what we think has the opportunity for Hive.
Exciting times ahead for sure, Frank. Thanks so much. Great to see you again, and happy holidays. And we look forward to seeing you in 2025.
Merry Christmas to all the listeners.
All right, good stuff. Frank Holmes, the executive chairman of Hive Digital Technologies.